Magandang araw po mga kaibigan. Mahalaga ang lecture na gagawin natin ngayon, ngunit mayroon tayong disclaimer. Ang presentation po natin ay for private educational training. There is no attempt to diagnose, treat, prevent disease, or even cure. Kapag mayroon tayong medical condition, always consult your physician or doctor. And health statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Nabanggit ko mahalagang topic natin. Ang topic natin po ngayon ay tungkol po sa DNA natin. Ang focus po natin, sasagutin natin ang tanong, why our life and health is maintained at the DNA level. And we will be focusing on 4 important points. At doon po sa hindi po nakakakilala sa ating pong speaker, ang inyong pong lingkod, ang complete name ko po ay Lo Arlie Macasiano Imperio. Ngunit sa aking mga kaibigan, I am commonly called as Dr. Arlie. Ang aking pong focus sa medical practice ay family medicine, public health, traditional Chinese medicine, functional medicine, at member po tayo ng KVP, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas. Ngayon, nabanggit ko po ay meron po 4 important points para po makita natin ang kabuuan ng ating pong discussion. Ito, in this diagram, sinamarize ko na yung ating pong important message. Bakit mahalaga yung DNA sa ating pong kalusugan? Point number 1, the DNA is the molecular foundation of our life. Point number 2, the DNA is involved in our epigenetic expression. Point number 3, the DNA is involved in the central dogma of our life or biology. And number 4, when all the DNA of our body disappears, we would be dead practically. Kaya ang focus po natin should be on number 1, DNA health and function. Number 2, DNA stability. Number 3, DNA repair. So yan po ang ating pong message sa lecture ngayon. Ihimay-mayin natin yan isa-isa as quickly as we can by showing images to illustrate the 4 important points. So point 1, the DNA is the molecular foundation of our life. So nakikita niyo po on the left side, yung female na naka-illustrate po yung DNA. At nakikita po sa gitna, di ba? Yung double helix strand, yan yung DNA. Molecular po yan, molecular. Beyond the molecule, atomic na po mga kaibigan. Kaya kumbaga, nasa dulo po ng ating pong knowledge on how our body is structured. Ngunit sa bandang kanan, mahalaga po to, at sabi po dito, the DNA is called the blueprint of life because, number 1, it contains the instruction needed for an organism, number 1, to grow, to develop, survive, and reproduce. Yun yung keywords. Kaya mahalaga yung DNA. Hawak niya yung kodigo, yung blueprint, yung instruction for us to grow, okay, to develop, to survive, diba? Umaabot sa survival mode, and to reproduce, the perpetuation of the species. At nakikita niyo po yung symbol sa dulong kanan, yan yung caduceus. Yan po yung dalawang coiled serpents going upward. Kaya nga may pakpak to differentiate it from the serpent that usually goes into the deepest recesses of the earth. So hindi yan yung serpent na tinutukoy natin. Ang serpent na tinutukoy dito, which becomes the symbol of medicine, is the one that ascends and goes up. And it's connected with the foundation of the DNA as illustrated. Ngayon, we also further illustrate the importance of the DNA as the molecular foundation of our life. So, on the left side, you can see us as an organism. Nakikita nyo yung bilog, yan ang cell. Pero sa loob ng cell, may bilog uli, yan ang tawag na nucleus. At sa loob ng nucleus, naka-illustrate yung 4-armed structure na ang tawag po chromosome. Ngayon, nasa loob ng chromosome DNA. So nakikita niyo po yung illustration, i-review niyo po, tingnan na maigi para ma-visualize natin kung saan ang DNA sa loob ng katawan natin. So nakikita niyo po, tanong, nasaan ang DNA? Nasa loob ng chromosome. Ano dulo ng katawan ng tao, organism? DNA. The same illustration sa bandang kanan. Di ba? Nakikita niyo yung violet na bilog, cell yun. Yung bilog na blue, nucleus. Sa loob, chromosome. Hinila yung chromosome, kabit-kabit na DNA gene ang tawag nun. Ang ending, to build, grow, survive, reproduce the major functions of the body is the endpoint, which is protein. So, di ba yung katawan natin ay halos lahat protina? So, mahalaga. Ayan, pag-uusapan natin mamaya. And to illustrate it further, on the left side, the DNA is the molecule of life. Yung katawan natin, may get 200 trillion cells. And each cell has 46 human chromosome. Yung 46 niya, yung 23 galing sa nanay, 23 sa tatay. Kaya nga naging 46. Kaya yung hereditary traits ng parents natin nandun sa chromosome. Okay, at ang subunits ng DNA, yun yung bases. Yung ATCG, yan yung Adenine, Thymine, Cytosine, Guanine. And there are 80,000 genes code for proteins that perform all the functions. So, makikita yung illustration, yung cell, di ba? At sa gitna, yung nucleus, and then yung chromosome. Nilabas natin ang isang chromosome. 4-arm po siya. And then yung gene, nakabit-kabit na DNA. At sa loob ng DNA, di ba, nakikita yung mga letra, thymine, adenine, cytosine, guanine, adenine, thymine, yung 80, pares-pares po yan. And then the endpoint is to create the protein needed by the body. Yung bandang kanan, same story din po, kaya lang more detail. I-ano nyo po ito, kunin nyo ng screenshot. Para kung gusto nyo pong himay-mayin, pwede nyo pong basahin in detail. Pero ang punto po natin dito, gusto natin i-emphasize, ang dulo po, DNA. At sa loob ng DNA, yung nitrogen bases na adenine, cytosine, thymine, guanine. And then, the combination of these codes would lead to the production of protein, which is practically our body. Ngayon, point number 2. The DNA is involved in our epigenetic expression. So, pag-uusapan natin yan, ano? Ang theory sa epigenetics, ito babasahin po natin. What our parents and grandparents ate, how much exercise they did, and what chemicals they were exposed to are all factors that could affect our body's look and work. So, yung DNA, yan yung code. Yung epigenetic is the expression of the code. Yung DNA na minana natin, na nasa chromosome natin, wala na tayong magagawa kung yan yung namana natin. The good, the bad, and the ugly, iga nga. However, we can modify or influence the expression for good or for bad. So for example, on the right side, nakikita natin yung bata, tayo yan, ano? At pinapakita po yung chromosome. At lahat po normal, di ba? So this is the normal chromatin state. However, as we get older, nagkaroon ng mga biochemical changes na sinasabing histone variant, DNA mutation, tsaka altered patterns of histone modifications. Ayan, nakikita niyo po, nakakaroon na po ng manifestation of aging. Di ba? Okay, so nagkakaroon ng expression. Ang tawag natin yan epigenetics. Yan pag-aaralan natin. So, ito na po yung expression. Ito yung nakikita niyo sa bandang kaliwa, yung normal. Di ba? Yung normal epigenetics. Pero, pwede magkaroon ng changes going to the worst, like cancer. Biochemically, we just to mention, di naman nyo kailangan ma-master to, pero at least mababasa natin. DNA methylation histone modification, and non-encoding RNA. And then point mutation, deletion, amplification, it can lead to sickness like cancer. So on the right side, nakikita niyo po yung two keywords na kailangan alam natin. Yung genotype, yan yung minana natin. Yung phenotype, yan yung expression ng namana natin. Ang tawag po natin, epigenetics. So, in the field of epigenetics and how it will be modulated, maraming mga factors. One of them is diet. Diyan tayo interesado. Okay? Kasi yung diet, kontrolado natin. We can choose what to eat. At yung lifestyle, like exercise, smoking, drugs, exposure sa disease, even environment, halos lahat. Microbiome sa ating pong gut microbiota, lahat yan can be modulated. And the expression is what we call epigenetic. So nakikita niyo sa bandang kanan, yung ating, let's say, DNA, yun ang minana natin, genotype. But the expression, nakikita niyo po, can be towards wellness or sickness. Yan yung epigenetic expression. It was modified. So kung healthy lifestyle o di health, kung unhealthy lifestyle, di sickness. So nasa kamay natin. Kaya nga mahalaga na malaman natin na nandyan yung DNA, pero meron tayong magagawa para mapaganda yung expression niya. Okay? Yan ang epigenetics. So, same story, no? Yung kanina. Kaya lang, pinalaki lang natin. Okay? So, the keywords, genotype and phenotype. Ngayon, sa totoo lang, dahil sa magkadikit yung dalawa, sometimes the distinction cannot be clear. It can be blurred kasi nga they can overlap. So nakikita yung illustration ng I Ching, black and white opposite, di ba? Black and white opposite, kitang-kita. Kaya lang nakikita niyo po the black goes into the white area, the white goes into the black area. And within the black area may white, within the white area may black. So yun ang sinasabing minsan din natin basta-basta nakikita yung difference. But the expression can be modified by certain factors. Okay po? And then the practical application of epigenetic science is basically healthy lifestyle. And number two, the proper use of functional food. Para maiwasan sakit, siyempre number one, advanced check-up. And then healthy lifestyle. And then the proper use of functional food. Okay, yung healthy lifestyle, meron tayong lecture niyan. I-search niyo po sa YouTube. Pero babanggitin natin quickly, attunement to God, spiritual health, nutrition, exercise, sunbathing, temper control, abdominal breathing, alternative nose breathing para sa balancing of the body's chi o kaya energy, and the importance of rest, restoration, regeneration, rejuvenation, recreation. And then yung functional foods, marami na yan. Yan ang magandang balita sa nutrition. Pero yung mga mahalagang functional food, nilista ko po una, complex dietary nucleotides, essential amino acids, peptides, oligopeptides, glucan, siyempre yung vitamins and minerals, folate, and then yung trace minerals which can be derived from fulvic, collagen, at iba pa. So ang formula po to have a better life or healthier life, advance ang check-up. Huwag hintayin magkasakit. Lahat ng organs, kasi isang organ lang bumigay, sabit, pag-uusapan natin mamaya. And then healthy lifestyle. Ang formula, daily I am a new star. Yan, nilista na po natin. And then the proper use of functional food. Okay, so yung epigenetics po is influenced by many factors. Basta importante, the risk factors can lead to the expression of what we inherited. Yan pong epigenetics. Okay, number 3. The DNA is involved in the central dogma of our life. Mahalaga yan, ha? Complex procedure po yan, ha? Pero we can simplify. 3 major components, DNA, RNA, protein. The DNA, through transcription, creates the messenger RNA. And then the messenger RNA, through the use of the 20 amino acids, create the protein. So, ang illustration niya parang yung chef Siyempre, tinitingnan niya sa cookbook yung formula. Yun, ang formula na nasa DNA. Pagkatapos kinopya niya yung formula and then niluto niya, yun nga translation. So parang gano'n din po. Ngayon, pag-aaralan natin to in more detail. So ito na po yun. Diba, there are 3 steps: DNA, RNA, protein. And then the DNA will replicate. That is the starting point. Kaya mahalaga itong DNA. And then on the right side, you can see the cell. Inside the cell is the nucleus. Pero merong nangyayari sa loob ng nucleus. Yun, nakikita nyo, DNA, nag-replicate, nag-unwind, na-create yung single-strand RNA, lumabas sa nucleus. At paglabas sa nucleus na sa cytoplasm, yung single-strand messenger RNA will attract the transfer, let's say, RNA na nakakabit doon yung amino acids. Okay? And then, yung amino acids, kumapit doon sa RNA, na-create yung protein. Nakita nyo yung beads, parang bead-like structure. So, the central dogma is DNA, RNA, protein through the process of transcription and translation. So, yan, inulit-ulit natin para maintindihan. 3 major steps: DNA, RNA, protein, transcription, translation. Pero ang gusto ko lang pong matandaan natin, ganyan kahalaga yung DNA. Kasi yan ang punto kung bakit mahalaga ang DNA sa katawan natin, sa kalusugan natin, sa buhay natin. Okay, so napag-usapan natin yung central dogma of life or biology, which is DNA, RNA, protein, through transcription, translation, and the use of amino acids to create the protein configuration. Ngayon, merong isang food supplement na ang tawag po Immunologist, na ang ingredients niya, yung nucleotides, which is cytosine, guanine, thymine, or uracil, tsaka adenine. Involved yan sa support ng structure and function ng DNA, RNA. Kaya nga pinagdikit natin para makita natin. And then yung amino acids involved sa creation of protein. Kaya if you have a food supplement that contains these ingredients that can support the central dogma of life, naiibang food supplement yun. Kaya ang gagawin lang natin, silipin lang natin yung ating mga food supplements kung meron silang yung mga ingredients na yan. Yung complex dietary nucleotides, which are cytosine, guanine, thymine, adenine, and uracil. Meron ba siya yung 9 essential amino acids? Meron ba siyang peptides? And then, pwedeng dagdagan ng mga minerals and trace minerals like we can get from fulvic. If you can find a food supplement with these ingredients, ayan ang food supplement na kailangan bibigyan natin din diin ang focus kasi it supports the central dogma of our life. O yan po mga kaibigan, yung essential amino acids, 20 yan. Pero pag kulang yung essential, maski isa, hindi mabubuo yung 20. Pero kung kompleto po tayo sa essential amino acids, we can create the other amino acids to completely have the 20 amino acids. Mahalaga yung amino acids, no? Kasi parang alphabet po yan. Di ba? Sa alphabet, dapat lahat nandun. Parang yung keyboard, di ba? Lahat ng letra nandun. Hindi pwedeng kulang-kulang. Ganun din sa katawan natin. So, pagka meron kayong food supplement, basahin po ninyo kung meron silang essential amino acids. Ilan yan? Siyam. Histidine, isoleucine, leucine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, valine, and lysine. Okay? So, yung DNA and RNA mahalaga. Anong pagkakaiba? Yung DNA, double-stranded. Yan ang nakikita, double-stranded. Yung RNA, single-stranded. And then nakikita nyo po yung nitrogen bases, cytosine, guanine, adenine, thymine sa DNA. Sa RNA, yung thymine, uracil. Okay? So pareho lahat except yung thymine is uracil. Point number 4. Naku, when all the DNA of our body disappears, we would be dead. When the DNA is damaged and destroyed, would lead to weakness, aging, and death. Therefore, ang conclusion natin, after reviewing these 4 points, our conclusion is to support our health starting from the DNA level. So here is another summary. Here are the main ideas. On the left side, the DNA is the molecular foundation of our life. And the most important functions are DNA function, DNA stability, DNA repair. And the DNA has an important role in the central dogma of biology. Kung titingnan nyo yung image sa kanan, we just simply summarized this important connection. This is a simple slide mga kaibigan, pero it summarizes some important components. Una, can we see the vital role of dietary nucleotides in the promotion or support of longevity? So unang-una, everything will always start with us, you. So nakikita niyo you. Gusto mo ba ng long life? Siyempre gusto natin. Kaya lang may problema. Ibig sabihin premature death. Diniscuss na natin that our body is composed of many organs. Isang organ lang bumigay sabit. Ngayon, the top 3 organs or the organs that we should particularly take care of, number 1 yung circulation, heart, and brain. Yan ang number 1 kasi that can lead to instant death. And then the other organs like breast, prostate, colon, malignancy, kidney can lead to malignancy. Kaya medyo mahaba-haba. O ngayon, pag nangyari ang mga yan, the best treatment is intensive care unit pagka tagilid na. Okay? And the best is drug surgery or even organ transplantation. So, pagka umabot sa ganyan, nagkaroon ng problema, and survival na is the issue, the doctor is obligated to give the best drug. Doon naman sa left side, which is on prevention, yung preventive medicine will compose of 3 components. Una, advanced check-up. Hindi natin hihintayin bumigay yung organ. Number 2, lifestyle medicine. And number 3, functional medicine. So dito, the focus is on functional food and lifestyle. Nabanggit natin na yan. At pagdating sa functional food, the best is nucleotides. O yun ang point. In contrast, pagka may sakit, the best is drug. Dito, the best is food. So the focus is on food. Kaya nga po, meron tayong sinasabing functional medicine. Pagdating sa food, nucleotide is the focus. At bakit naman po? Kasi ang nucleotide, yan ang nilalaman ng DNA. At pinupunto natin yung kahalagaan ng DNA, di po ba? The 4 points lahat may connection sa DNA. At ang DNA nasa loob ng chromosome natin na nasa loob ng nucleus ng bawat cell. And then bawat cell is inside a particular tissue or organ. And they are part of a system. So it will affect you and me. So the purpose of this diagram is to illustrate the 2 different approaches. Pag may sakit na, siyempre magpa-doktor. At alam na natin, a diagnosis will be done and then a drug, surgery, transplantation, or even stem cell therapy could be the option. Pero pagdating naman sa prevention, in contrast, the focus is on having your assessment earlier done, and then lifestyle medicine, or in short, functional medicine. And then the focus is on nucleotide, dietary nucleotide. Yan ang point. Okay po? Pero tingnan po natin na may connection sa DNA. And then ito po yung sinasabi natin one-page presentation. Ang tanong po, nasaan ang nucleotide? Nasa loob ng DNA. Nasaan ang DNA? Nasa loob ng chromosome. So, this is a simple diagram to show how the body is organized from the macro to the molecular. So, yung organs, tissue, nakikita yan ng mata. Yung cell, nakikita with microscope. Yung nucleus, chromosome, nakikita with electron microscopy. And then yung genomic function, through biochemistry po yan. So, what we're trying to say here is that ang dulo molecular. Kaya nga pwede natin sabihin, our life and health is based on the molecular activity of the DNA nucleotide inside the chromosome. O yun po ang punto dyan. Ngayon, ito po, yung left side, yan yung one-page presentation. Kabisaduhin lang po nyo yan. Para makabisado po niya, sagutin natin yung bawat question. 11 points po yan. So, from macro, yung nakikita ng mata, micro, through instruments. Okay, so number 1, to realize how the body is organized. Number 2, to mention some of the body systems. Mamaya papakita ko yung mga different systems. Basta ang importante, malaman natin bawat system. Maraming organs sa isang system. And then sa bawat organ, may tissue, may cell. Sa cell, nakikita po ang nucleus. And then sa loob ng nucleus, chromosome, 46 po yan. And then, number 8, to know the basic science that each chromosome are made up of strands or packets of DNA. And then number 9, each DNA have nucleotides as part of its structure. Number 10, to see the importance of nucleotide supply for body. And the body maintains the nucleotide level in two ways, de novo synthesis and salvage pathway. Yung de novo, automatic yan. Pagka hindi na kaya ng de novo, salvage pathway, nutritional yan. Yung de novo, the body by itself creates and maintains the nucleotide. Kaya lang pag humina na yung katawan kasi may sakit, o kaya tumatanda, o kaya na operasyon, hindi na kaya kasi humina eh. Kasi kung ayos yung de novo, hindi ka dapat hihina kasi one of the benefits of nucleotide DNA activity or stability is energy. O ngayon, ang sasalba sa'yo, di salvage pathway. Ito na yung dietary nucleotide, nutritional nucleotide, tsaka yung exogenous nucleotide. And the number 11, to take notice that initial research now show that when there is nucleotide deficiency, there will be genomic instability. So pag kaya nyo sagutin ang bawat tanong na yan, 11 po yan, more or less, alam mo na itong one-page presentation. Ngayon, ang connection sa Immunologist, simple lang. Yung Immunologist, ang laman niya, nucleotide. Ang laman niya, essential amino acids. Ang laman niya, peptides, oligopeptides through bovine tissue extract. And then, immune system booster ang kanyang major, let's say, function. So, ito rin po, no? Same story. Diba? Alam na po ninyo. Pero nakalagay dyan sa upper, lower ng right side, diba? Guanine, cytosine, thymine, and adenine. So, ito po yung sinasabi nating systems. For example, respiratory system dun sa left side. O diba, meron siyang nose, nostril, meron siyang bronchus, may lungs, o diba, ang daming parts. And then sa cardiovascular, nakikita nyo may heart, may arteries and veins. Okay, and then going to the vital organs. Reproductive and excretory, diba, nakikita mo yung kidney and ureter. Nakuha nyo po, there are many organs, pero ang point, bawat organ, tissue, and cell. And bawat cell, chromosome, DNA, nucleotide. Yun lang po. Yun lang po ang parang uulit-ulitin natin na babanggitin. Then, we focus on the cell. Kasi the cell, everything happens in the cell that will affect the entire body. So, binuksan yung cell, nakikita nyo marami siyang laman. O, basahin nyo po yung endoplasmic reticulum, ribosome, di ba, mitochondria, okay? O, nasa loob po yan sa may cytoplasm. Pero yung gitna, yung pink na kulay, binuksan din, nucleus yun. Then nakikita sa loob dyan, nandyan yung chromosome tsaka DNA. Okay? Ngayon, si Petr Sima, isa pong prominenteng scientist, professor sa College of Medicine, Immunologist, Czech Republic. Kasi ang tanong, may de novo pathway pala eh. So, do we need nucleotide supplementation? Kasi pag supplementation coming from the outside. So, si Petr Sima na nagsabi, and I quote, recent evidence show there is often lack of DNA and RNA components. O yun yun. Hindi sinabi paminsan-minsan. Madalas. Often. And then when demand exceeds production capacity, yun ngayon, de novo pathway. Kaya lang kung there is more need, like in extreme sports. Aba, you need nucleotide, let's say, backup or supply. Pagka nagkasakit, siyempre mahina na. O di, ibig sabihin, di na kaya ng de novo. Then, you need the dietary nucleotides. Okay? Nakuha niyo po? Coming from an expert, si Petr Sima. Okay, so in closing, we would like to ask everyone or ourselves, which is better, staying healthy or getting sick? Eh di siyempre naman, staying healthy tayo. It's more affordable, more enjoyable, because we know that health is wealth and asset, and the focus is on prevention and wellness, and the result can be longer life. Samantalang pag nagkasakit, it's more expensive, there is more suffering. Sickness is an expense, a liability, and the best option is ICU, and life can possibly be shorter. And in this slide, we ask the question, ano yung mga sinyales na posible kulang ang nucleotide sa katawan ng tao? Kasi in-emphasize na natin, DNA, 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 pero ang punto ngayon, ang nilalaman ng DNA, nucleotide. At ang imorigen, nucleotide ang nilalaman niya. So ito yung mga condition. Pag tumatanda ang tao, yung de novo pathway humihina. So we have to go to the second option, which is the salvage pathway, which is dietary nucleotides coming from nutrition or outside sources. So we should start now taking nucleotide kasi tumatanda tayo eh. We're getting older by the day. Any medical condition na meron manifestation of weakness, exhaustion, convalescent, feeling of tired or fatigue. Ayan, obvious na yan. Bagsak na nucleotide mo. Hindi na kaya suportahan ng katawan yung sinasabi natin de novo. So, ang second option, salvage pathway, where through exogenous sourced nucleotide or dietary nucleotides, i-recycle o kaya gagawa ng body ng nucleotides coming from these sources. When one is involved into sports, daily stress, basta anytime during the day na parang pagod ka, lalo na kung nag-overnight yung trabaho mo. Diba? Baliktad. Yung gabi na dapat tulog tayo, nagtatrabaho tayo, yung sinasabing graveyard shift. Okay? We need to take a dietary nucleus. Sino to? Yung mga nag-overtime. Yung mga call center. Yung mga frontliners natin sa hospital na naka-duty. Mga doktor. Diba? Basta anytime na parang pagod ka, yan na po yung symptoms na bagsak na yung nucleotide mo. Kailangan mag-take ka ng nucleotides. At pag mahina na yung ating katawan, lalo na immune system, di lalo na. Kasi nga, one of the observation is that nucleotides supports body immunity. Okay, so I borrowed this wonderful slide and I give due credit to beautiful quotes. By looking at the drawing, we know na yan ang direction ng nating lahat. We came into this world and we grew up as an infant, then as a child, and then as an adolescent, and then young adult, then middle-aged adult, and then we now start entering into the declining function of the body and aging. And then we take note that life is short, no rewinds, no replay. Kaya nga, enjoy the moment as it comes because this is the only moment and the best one. It is not in the future, it is not in the past, and the only time you can make a change, epigenetic medicine is now. So ito po inyong kaibigan si Dr. Arlie, sumisigaw mula sa Pilipinas, ay mabuhay. This means I wish you more to your life, health, and prosperity. And remember that health is our primary and first form of wealth. Kaya nga, be wealthy. Ayan, kinumbine natin yung two words, wealth and health, tsaka healing. So mukhang meron siyang commonality. Health may not be everything, but when you lose your health, you and I, or we might lose everything. That's why we focus on prevention. It is always preferred than getting the best cure. So remember that our only moment is now. Prevention is always preferred than getting the best cure. Get in touch with the person who shared you this information. and get more information on how you can, let's say, get your dietary nucleotide supply.